Hey Sunshine Fam, it's Chloe. Welcome back to my channel. I want to start this video by, maybe I should turn my car off. I want to start this video by saying how happy I am that it took DC long enough to do this, and I guess it really wasn't DC's decision, it was hers, but earlier this year, remember when I was making all those videos about ICE raids and all that stuff? Well, first, Kristi Noem was fired because of something she said in a congressional hearing, that she had spent somewhere like $20 million on an ad campaign or something, 200 million something, an exuberant amount of money to get the message across to immigrants that want to come to the country illegally. And she claimed that Carpathia knew about it. And apparently Carpathia was like, no, I didn't know you spent that kind of money. So, like, right after that happened, either the day after or within the week after that happened, she was fired and relocated to another position, which we don't hear about Carolyn Levitt anymore, do we? Well, then I'm like, when are they going to get rid of Pam Bondi and Carolyn Levitt? Did I say Carolyn Levitt? I meant Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem, who was the head of DHS at the time. So then Pam Bondi was getting really cocky in another version of congressional hearings. And she was being asked questions about the Epstein files. And she kept saying, oh, well, the Dow Jones is at 50,000 and it's never been at 50,000. It's never been more healthy. And why don't you talk about these people that are here illegally and blah, blah, blah. She was avoiding the questions about Jeffrey Epstein. And shortly thereafter, she got fired by Carpathia. And from what I understand from Luke Beasley and others, is that she was pleading in the car with Carpathia to let her stay in her position. And he said, no, I've had enough of your loose cannon lips, and you're out. You're going to another location too. So you don't hear anything about Pam Bondi anymore. Well, then Carolyn Levitt recently had her baby with her 60-something-year-old husband. She's like 28, 29. And so she was on maternity leave for a while. Of course, we all know this. I'm just recapping. And I guess J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio were taking her place as press secretary while she was out. Well, now she's back, but she's leaving at the end of the month. So I'm like, then why did she even come back? If she's going to leave and take care of her family, whatever. I don't know how well you can see me. I'm in my car. Let's see. Maybe if I go like that. There we go. So I am very happy that the three ladies are now out of office, or will soon be. Carolyn hasn't left yet, but now there's a lot of speculation about who's going to take over Carolyn's job. And in a CNN article that I read yesterday, they're saying, you know, people don't understand how hard this job is. You know, you gotta do a lot of research. And I'm like, research? Chloe knows a lot about research, doesn't she? I don't want that job, let me tell you. I was joking with John about it. I'm like, oh, maybe Chloe Murphy is up for that position. And I'm like, no. No, I don't want to be that close to Carpathia. Do not want to be working in DC, although it would be kind of cool to visit with all the research I've been doing on my family tree. I may touch on that before the end of my video, but if I don't, I do want to say I will be making another video of information that I learned. I went up to St. Cloud this past weekend to try to get information about Charlene and my grandfather, my paternal grandfather's side of the family. And as a teaser, I'll just say I wasn't able to get any more information about those two people. But I was able to get some information that I wasn't looking for from other people. So I will put that in a separate video. I'm not done looking for information about Charlene. But the next step is to go to the county licensing center, and I did get a website that I can go and fill out a form to get a birth and death certificate for her. So that's my next steps. Might do that today, might wait till Monday for that. I don't know. It depends on my mood, which hasn't been the greatest, which brings me to the other part of this video. Again, I'm sorry if the quality of this video is not the greatest. I've got the sun shining in my face this way, and as I'm looking in the screen, it doesn't look like my face is really clear. It looks like it's like partly in the shade. So I apologize for that, but I'm in my car. I'm out in Wayzata today, overlooking the lake, which is why I keep looking that way, because I'm looking at the lake. Bodies of water really calm me down. But all that to say this. I've been watching videos the last couple of weeks on this girl by the name of Balin Dupree. And I first heard about her when I saw her on an episode of Dr. Phil. Balin has Tourette's syndrome, for those of you that don't know who Balin Dupree is. And she was like 18 when she went on Dr. Phil. So this was several years ago. And now she has her own TV show. They're working on season 3 now, or they're done with season 3. And I guess it was put out in May, but those videos haven't dropped on YouTube yet. They do like little clips from it, but they don't have like the whole season recap, which is what I've been watching from seasons 1 and 2. It's called Balin Out Loud, and it's on TLC. And it's her going to social media and talking about what it's like to live with Tourette's. And in these videos, it follows her and her family through her life. And she's now married to her longtime now husband, Colin. And watching the struggles that she goes through, I can really relate to her, because I've been going through some struggles of my own, which I have talked about in recent videos. And I kind of want to get into that here. Ever since I blew up at who I've been calling my abuser, which I will now say is my father, back in May. I feel like I've been shunned from the family. Not that I have ever really known what the word family means, because my first real memory of not necessarily the abuse by my father, but it does feel freeing to say that, however, to finally name who it is, even though I'm sure you guys could kind of figure it out. But the earliest memory I have of being disconnected from the family happened up at my grandparents' farm. And as I have said in past videos, but not in my Who Am I videos, I grew up with 3 women that technically are my sisters. I don't necessarily call all of them my sisters. I call them the 3 women I grew up with. Because growing up, my oldest sister, the one who gave me all the information for my family tree, that she had some information that I didn't have, and I had information that she didn't have. So she and I are still kind of talking genealogy stuff, but that's basically the extent of our conversations lately. But growing up, she and I were very close. She's 6 years older than me. My next older woman I grew up with is 5 years older than me, and she and I have never really gotten along. We just kind of coexisted under the same roof. My third older sister, I'm the youngest of all of them, she and I were like rabid pit bulls in a fighting ring growing up. We hated each other. And in recent years, she has reached out to me a little bit. So we have talked intermittently, but I haven't heard from her in several months. Since slightly before that blow up I had with my father in May. And I'm pretty sure she probably found out about it and probably wants nothing to do with me. That's the way I take it. I'm not really sad about it, though, because the three of them were very close in age. Because, like I said, my oldest sister is 6 years older than me. The next one is 5 years older than me. And the third one is 4 years older than me. So they were all very close growing up. And then I came along. And over the years, it's almost like the fact that I exist is a thorn in their side. So I've kind of gotten used to being alone, which is why I say I don't really know what family means. Because I see other people that get together with their families and do fun things like have picnics or go to their homes for family get-togethers or dinners or whatever. They do a lot of stuff with their family members. I don't really have that. And again, I'm not saying this to get a pity party or anything. This is just my thoughts being thrown out into the internet black hole, I guess you could say. It's just my reality, you know. And due to the abuse that I suffered longer than the other three did, as far as I know, it was only 3 other people, I have suffered with depression most of my life. I got off track again. I'm sorry. So I was saying, when I realized that I didn't really have a family, I'll try to get back to that story, sorry. When I realized I didn't really have a family and that I was on my own, I was 9 years old, and it happened at my grandparents' farm. And the next older sister and the one I never got along with, the one that I hated growing up and the one that I never got along with, were going off to do their own thing. Now, I grew up in the city, so going up to see my grandparents was not really always that fun because we couldn't go in the barn, we couldn't bother the animals, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. They lived in a very small town, which at the time only had a population of 400 people. Your next door neighbor was literally a mile down the road because it's farmland in central Minnesota. So it wasn't a lot of fun to go to the farm for a city girl because there wasn't a lot to do. So those two one day were going off to do something fun on the farm. Fun. And I asked if I could go with, and they turned to me and they're like, "No, you're too young for that." That was a common answer I heard from them all the time. I was always too young, too young. Then I got to be of age that I was old enough. Then I was still 4 years younger than the next older sister. So I was always too young. So I never fit in. So I learned how to be by myself. A lot of you out there that really and truly know me probably find it surprising that I am a recluse. because some of you know me from work, bitty bitty bum bum, but that's for one of my coworkers. And you guys see how engaging I am with the customers, how I seem so outgoing, but I'm not that way outside of work. I get paid to be that way at work. And yes, it is genuine when I start conversing with the customers and stuff like that, especially the people that are the regulars that come in all the time. But once I walk out those doors and I go home, I'm a totally different person. I'm very quiet. And for the rest of you that watch my videos, you're like, quiet? You make 1 hour long videos. Yeah, because you guys are the only ones that I really talk to outside of work. Which is why my videos are always so long. Because once I start talking, then I don't know when to shut up. So, the other thing that's been going on lately is I really miss talking to my mom. Since my blow up with my dad back in May, my mom really hasn't wanted to talk to me. She hasn't really been engaging with me to get my side of the story about what I said that day, which I don't even know what he may have told her, what I said. But it was literally a 1.5 hour scream fest from me to him. Because it was, like I said, 53 years of pent-up anger. And I wasn't going to put up with it anymore. And I did feel empowered. Because it's exactly what he needed to hear. And I was tired of tiptoeing around him. And being careful what I said and careful what I did. And, you know, it's almost like when you don't want a child to know something. And in that respect, yeah, I can understand. But he's 93. So he's more than an adult. He probably, at this point, does not even remember having that conversation with me. Probably doesn't even remember that I even exist, which is fine. But my mom, the first time I tried to call my mom, she sounded like she was kind of sad. And this was about a week after this